Today on Public Eye News, the director of the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development testifies in Washington. But first, a Dollar Bay man is sentenced for embezzlement.
Bianca Kroll will have your weather forecast for the next couple days, and Austin Graham will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Toby Camilli.
And I'm Luke Middle, and this is Public Eye News. A Dollar Bay man has been sentenced in connection to an embezzlement of an elderly woman's account savings of approximately $130,000. Jason Heikkinen, 47, was charged with one count of embezzlement of a person in a relationship of trust with a vulnerable adult. The former car salesman at a Houghton area dealership developed a relationship with the elderly woman and eventually became conservator of her finances. Heikkinen was able to put her house, portfolio, and personal property in his name and sold it without her knowledge or permission. Heikkinen has been sentenced to 180 days in jail, with 1 day already counted and 89 to be served immediately. Heikkinen will serve the remaining 90 days if he violates his 24-month parole and also has to pay back $179,250 in restitution. And Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has announced the recipients of the $1.3 million in the Rural Readiness Grant Program. In collaboration with the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, the program helps rural communities kickstart economic development and improve the quality of life for its residents. Included in the grants is $50,000 towards the Eastern Upper Peninsula Intermediate School District and another $50,000 to the Gogebic Range Health Foundation. An establishment of a UP Veterans Assistance Fund is planned as well, with $50,000 going towards the initiative. For more information about the Rural Readiness Program, contact the Office of Rural Prosperity at michigan.gov/ORP.
The Michigan Department of Education is praising Michigan high school students for their gains in advanced placement courses. The Michigan Department of Education reported a 12.3% increase in advanced placement participation over the last 2 years, with even higher growth among African American, Latino, and economically disadvantaged students. Students' performances on the advanced placement exams are also going up to a 31% increase in students scoring a 3 or higher on the exams, which usually results in students earning college credit. State officials credited outreach about how important these courses are and other education programs set in place for the jump in success for students. Northern Michigan students got a chance to show their research off at the Student Scholarship Summit on February 20th as part of the Peak 25 conference. The showcase had poster presentations which were judged by a group of people including academia, industry, and the community. The People's Choice winner of the event went to psychology major Paige Dolph for her research on changing implicit biases. First place went to fisheries management major Lars Anderson for his study on juvenile burbot habitats. Second place went to biology student Colby Drobish for research on larvae and pitcher plants. In third place was psychology major Sarah Linneblad for her study on cognitive flexibility and rumination. And millions of Americans are about to see the impact of a 10% job cut at the U.S. Forest Service, part of the White House plan to shrink the federal government. Ian Lee spoke to workers in Lander, Wyoming.
This summer, the family trip to a national forest might look a little different.
I think there's a lot of unforeseen consequences that the general public aren't always aware of.
What do you fear then? What could happen?
Myself and whoever else is out are picking up trash every day. We're clearing the trails for people to access the wilderness. And that's not going to happen this year.
It was everything that I had worked for a long time.
Dalen Grindle, along with Jack Corney and Tim Leedy, recently received a letter each that said they were being fired for poor job performance.
What was your reaction when you saw that the reason you're being fired was because of poor performance?
I mean, it's not the real reason.
You know, I put my heart and soul into that job, and that's just not true.
It's pretty devastating to lose this job.
Let's say you just arrived in town and you want some information about the forest, maybe a good place to camp or trail to hike on, or maybe you're scared about bears. You come to a place like this, your local ranger station. But because of the recent firings, this one won't be open anytime soon. The cuts come as wildfires become more frequent and more severe.
Show of hands, how many of you were qualified to fight fires? So you guys could have all been on the front lines this summer fighting fires if needed.
Yes.
Did you guys see yourselves making a career out of the Forest Service?
Yeah, I was going to be in this job for like 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just had an 8-month. I have an 8-month-old baby right now, so it's like the potential stability there, and yeah, just the longevity. It was definitely going to be probably my last career.
That new father was the sole earner in the family. Their health insurance is now gone, and the ripple effect is going to be felt across entire communities. The Forest Service is often the top employer in rural areas, which also helps facilitate tourism. And in Wyoming alone, tourists spend billions of dollars every year. Ian Lee, CBS News, Lander, Wyoming.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be back with weather and statewide news after this break.
Hi, I'm Amy Brenneman. My family and I are enthusiastic fans of public media. Public television and radio strengthen our democracy. They educate our children and empower us all to be lifelong learners. Each PBS and NPR station is a local nonprofit organization committed to the local community. Public media belongs to you and me. It's up to us to protect this essential national treasure. Information on how you can help is found at protectmypublicmedia.org.
And welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Kroll, and here's our weather forecast for today. Looking at the roof cam here behind me, as you can see, there's pretty clear skies with a few clouds, and it's looking nice and sunny, and the snow is melting, but that could change through the week. Now moving into the UP here, starting off in Houghton, it is 47 and mostly cloudy. In Ironwood, 49 and mostly cloudy. Iron Mountain, 48 mostly cloudy, and down in Menominee, it's 45 and sunny. And moving to the other side of the UP over here, in Escanaba, it is 42 and sunny. Manistee, 40 and mostly sunny. In Sault Ste. Marie, it's 40 and sunny. And back here in beautiful Marquette, it is 46 and sunny. Looking further into those current conditions, the winds are southwest at 9 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure is 29.81 inches and falling. And looking at tonight, we're going to see some rain showers with a low of 32, winds west-southwest at 10 miles per hour, and our moon phase is going to be a waning crescent. And looking at tomorrow, we can see some snow showers with a high of 35, a low of 22, and the winds north-northwest at 17 miles per hour. And looking ahead into the weekend here, on Friday, we're going to see a high of 35 with a rain and snow mix and a low of 11. Saturday, we're going to see a high of 16 with some cloudy skies and a low of 8. And on Sunday, we'll see a high of 28 with some mostly sunny skies and a low of 18. That's all I have for the weather. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that weather update, Bianca. I certainly will be looking forward to the flurries coming later in the week. Going now into some statewide news, the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development Director Tim Boring testified before the U.S. Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. During his hearing, Director Boring focused on specialty crops and their importance to the state of Michigan. In the state, the agriculture business generates $105 billion and over 300 crops produced. Also in his testimony, Director Boring said, quote, "Everywhere I go in Michigan, growers continue to express concern over increasingly erratic growing conditions," end quote. In last year's harvest, cherry farmers lost anywhere between 30 and 75% of their crops due to abnormal weather conditions. And the Michigan GOP has gathered in Detroit to elect a new chair heading into 2026 midterms. Senator Jim Runestad was eventually elected over Mayshawn Maddock, who faces 8 forgery and conspiracy charges related to a false elector case from the 2020 presidential election. Maddock was also the co-chair of the GOP in 2022 when the Democratic Party swept both chambers of legislature and the governor's office. In an address to delegates, Runestad said, quote, "I have been winning elections because I brought in the dollars," end quote. Runestad will also not be stepping down from his position in the state legislature. Runestad has served as a fierce conservative in the Michigan House of Representatives since he was elected to the position 11 years ago. And President Trump's first cabinet meeting includes room for Elon Musk as the administration prepares to more significantly trim the federal workforce. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
President Trump's first cabinet meeting of his second term featured his senior advisor, Elon Musk, talking about the administration's Department of Government Efficiency.
DOGE is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste.
CBS News obtained a memo today directing agencies to prepare for large-scale reduction in force and submit reorganization plans by mid-March.
We have cut billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're looking to get it maybe to $1 trillion if we can do that.
Musk would not put a number on anticipated personnel cuts.
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well.
As the administration's layoffs impact communities around the country, cities and states are trying to help.
Arlington County, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., held a standing room only town hall for federal employees Tuesday night. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Trump ally, launched Virginia Has Jobs, a website aimed at connecting laid off workers with the state's 250,000 job openings.
The way to really think about it is a resource collection. A single point for individuals to look for opportunities.
Other states, including Maryland and Colorado, have launched similar efforts, with an estimated 80% of the federal workforce based outside of Washington, D.C. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Don't touch that dial. Austin will be right back with a sports report you won't want to miss.
Wild water and rock. Ireland is famous for its stunning scenery. One of its greatest natural treasures is a strange world of grey stone called the Burren. The Burren seems lifeless, but look a little closer. Some extraordinary survivors clung to life.
Wednesday night at 8 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Graham, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. Starting off at the rink, the Detroit Red Wings completed a huge comeback win over the Minnesota Wild. Facing a 2-0 deficit heading into the second period, the Wings rallied against Minnesota, scoring 3 unanswered to complete the comeback. Vladimir Tarasenko opened the scoring for Detroit in the second by sending a snapshot past Minnesota netminder Philip Gustafsson. Simon Edmondson lit the lamp twice in the third to take the lead and seal the victory for the Wings. Detroit now sits at the top wildcard spot in the East, with a pair of games on the horizon against the second wildcard team in the Columbus Blue Jackets. Passing things over to the hardwood, the Detroit Pistons are seeking their 8th straight win as they host defending NBA champions, the Boston Celtics. The Pistons head into tonight's contest with a 22-20 Eastern Conference record, while the Celtics are 31-9. The matchup you might want to watch here tonight between the battle of Detroit's Cade Cunningham and Boston's Jason Tatum. Cunningham is averaging 25.8 points per game, while Tatum averages 26.6 per game. The Pistons may have an advantage over the Celtics, as Boston will be without Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis, as Horford is nursing a toe injury and Porzingis is battling an illness. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. And in some breaking WNBA news, Diana Taurasi has announced her retirement from professional basketball after a 20-year tenure. Taurasi is calling it a career after winning 6 Olympic gold medals with the United States and 3 league championships with the Phoenix Mercury. Before turning pro, Taurasi was a standout at UConn, where she led the Huskies to 3 straight national titles. In addition to her 3 championships with Phoenix and UConn, Taurasi also won 6 EuroLeague crowns, as she played year-round during her career. The WNBA's all-time scoring leader will finish her time in the league with over 10,000 points. That's all I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you for that sports update, Austin. It's great to hear about the Red Wings moving up in the rankings.
Oh yeah, one thing about the Red Wings, they're always going to keep their games interesting. But I hear you have one more story for us.
That's right. NMU's Department of Music will present Soundscapes and Supernovas, a free performance featuring the NMU Arts Choral, University Choir, and student conductors. The concert will be taking place on Tuesday, March 11th at 7:30 p.m. in the Reynolds Recital Hall.
Well, thank you. But with that, we're out of time here in Public Eye News today. I'm Luke Middle.
And I'm Toby Camilli.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.